Chunty.
Oh yes, Uncle Chunty.
So it looks like even massive companies like Activision can't keep themselves afloat in this current gaming climate. I for one am not surprised. EA is going to follow suit as well. This time we're living in, full of games as service, it's not sustainable. And it's the writing's been on the wall for years, man. Like, as a consumer myself, I can only speak as a consumer or as my own experience entails my own experience of there's too many games, and a lot of them are games of service. I can't stand that. I don't like a lot of games that I need to sink hundreds of hours into, or that need my constant attention every day or multiple times a week, or I'll get left behind, or I miss out on things, or you don't get the full experience. There's too many games like that out right now, and such little time for people like myself, or many others that aren't in my kind of point in life, that don't have the hours or the time. Like, time is a broad thing. Like, time is attention, time is, actual sitting time, time is being home, all of that kind of stuff. There's just not enough hours or time in the day to be dedicating to multiple games. For my personal experience, I'm looking forward to Anthem coming out. Now, I don't play many games of service types. Games of service is such a mouthful. I'm going to call them GOSs. GOSs, game of service. Or games as service. Maybe gas is better. I'm going to call them gas. I can't play many gases because I don't have time. I'm a full-time worker. I have my own life to live. I've got things to do. Things I want to do. Things that aren't game stuff that I like to do, like watching movies or being on the computer working on a drawing or something. Or, going for a drive somewhere. Just anything that isn't a game at the moment. So Sea of Thieves is one other game that's a gas. And I want to love Sea of Thieves. I've made my point very vocal online. I want to love games of Thieves. God damn it. Sea of Thieves, Game of Thrones. I've just marathon Game of Thrones, so it's still in my mind. Sea of Thieves, I want to love it, but they keep giving me reasons not to. I don't mind the type of game that it is. It doesn't require you to be grinding and spending so much time in loot box, situations. Like, there isn't any of that in there. You earn all the currency you need in game. There's no loot boxes, there's no microtransactions. I like Sea of Thieves the way it handles itself. I just don't like the always online aspect of it. I understand from the world it's built and how it plays, it needs to be always online. I get that, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that aspect. I just wish I could play it solo. And that's the other thing with these gases. You're forced into a particular game type. I see the argument a lot online of like, Sea of Thieves, they have a vision in mind, blah blah blah, it's always going to be, PvP, there's always going to be griefers, you're pirates, blah blah blah. I get the premise, I understand all that, but I think they're leaving money on the table, not offering just, a solo or a PvE world environment to play in, where you can still play with your friends in the world, but you're not getting shit kicked around by wankers. That's the Sea of Thieves I want to play with my friends or by myself. And I don't believe, if they're doing this gas game of service type thing, if they're doing this as a service, a game that is a service, then they're not serving us properly. This is part of the problem that these gases have. I would be playing Sea of Thieves well beyond what I've been playing. I haven't touched it for the last 6 months, and the only time I did recently, I played it for probably tops of 20 minutes, and I logged out again. Because I just got shat on continuously. I didn't even leave the main island. I just kept getting killed. Or as soon as I got onto my boat, someone would sneak onto my boat and kill me, just for no reason. And that's not fun. That's not the game I want to play. And I think they really need to address this. So as a service, for a game that you are providing us, that's the problem. Give me my option. I'm not the only one that's calling out for this. So Activision, you've got way too many. Your big one that you just lost was Destiny. Now you treated that game pretty damn poorly. I'm gonna say it wasn't handled really well. I think its potential was hampered by your interference and how you think the marketplace should be. You're stubborn. You didn't seem to have let Bungie do what Bungie does. And I, for one, I'm surprised that they survived the launch of Destiny, or at least up until the Taken King. I'm surprised the game survived, because it was bare bones and lackluster and everything. I have since played plenty of Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, but it's not the game that I imagine that it should have been. And I wish it was better. And I just have a problem with the service that it is. I can't commit to that game as much as I probably would like to. I can't do the grind. I don't want to do the grind. I've played some sessions for like 2 or 3 hours and I've got nothing, literally nothing, out of the loot boxes or the cycle that you go through for loot. And that's not something that is making me want to play it more. I haven't been rewarded in that game for quite some time. The only reward Destiny has been offering me in the last couple of years is time to hang out with my mate Jamie. You know, he loves Destiny, and I'm more than happy. I enjoy the Destiny story and the campaign portions of it. Outside of that, I'm not rewarded enough, but I enjoy playing that with him, and it's kind of our little thing to catch up and stuff. But I'm hoping like Anthem will probably be that coming up, and we'll try and bounce between Anthem and that. But aside from the social aspect, Anthem I think is going about it a better way, where it seems to be, proof will be in the pudding, but it seems to be they've learnt from what Destiny has done, and it sounds like the rewards will be there and frequent, which I'm looking forward to. As soon as it gets to a point, I understand there's endgame content, but as soon as it gets to a point where I need to grind for hours for one thing, and you might not even get it, you kind of lost me. And I'm totally against. I don't like microtransactions, but the whole first year of Anthem is free. All the updates, all the campaign editions, all the story editions. My mate Jamie has mentioned he showed me the rollout for the year, and it's all free, and it's pretty huge chunks that could be expansions, by the looks. And so I think they've learnt from what Destiny's done, and I'm looking forward to Anthem for that reason. There's so much coming for that game that's free, and they say you can actually solo it, and you can gain all the loot items or whatever you can just by playing the game without having to grind so much. Like, the grind will be there, that's just how those games are. But again, it's another game that I have to commit to, and that's another problem. I want to love that game, and I think I might fall into that argument again of I want to love that game. And I don't believe in the reason that people throw back at me and goes, oh well, if you don't if you don't like it, then don't play it. Well, that's not the problem, is that I want to play it, but I think if they're offering it as a service, they need to figure out a way for people like me to play it. So I'm hoping Anthem knows how to do that and can service those of us that don't have a lot of time to sink, but can keep us as players. So this is the problem. So Activision they've got Overwatch, Destiny 2, the Call of Duty. I don't think anyone's playing that now, that free-to-play thing. Or it wasn't free-to-play, you had to buy that bloody thing, and it's a battle royale type game. So most of their major things, they've lost Destiny 2 now, and that's where the brunt of this announcement has come, where they're losing, was it $400 million or something due to the split with Bungie. Just reading it now. And players of Overwatch and other Blizzard-related games of the service, like, what's that card game one? Can't remember what it's called. It just lost me. Yeah, so people are dropping off those games because you can only play a game like that for so long before you get bored. Or they've moved on to another game. And that's just the nature of it. So the game, I don't want to say the game industry is crashing. I don't want to say that, but it just feels like we're getting to that point of there's too many of these games. They've just diluted everything. You can't play them all. You just can't. unless you are staying at home, you don't work, and that's all you do. You know, you're a bludgeon on society, or you know, you have no option but to stay at home because you work at home, or for whatever reason, like you are at home. Then I understand why you'd be playing a lot of these games. But for everybody else, you can. I mean, Apex has just come out. I mean, who? That's just another game that's just come out. That's free, and it expects a lot of time of you. And who can play all this stuff? I know there's a lot of us out there, but seriously, who? If, say for argument's sake, there's only how many? 80 million PS4s. Let's just work on that. And there aren't 80 million people playing these games. You know, there's smaller chunks of that 80 million playing them all. So it's not like there's $80 million. $80 million. There's not like there's 80 million players playing these games simultaneously. Not a lot of them are. I think Anthem was clocking in like 40 something million players or something during the demos, and that's just insane. So you get these waves of like the new thing, everybody jumps onto it, and then it goes rah, and then there's a new one, and or if there's two at the same time, then you split between both, or two or three of them. So I don't know. I know in my circle of friends, not many people stick to these games of service. They just don't. These gases, they just don't stick to them. Unless they fully are grabbed by it. Like my mate Jamie with Destiny. He's clocked thousands, I would say thousands of hours into just Destiny as a thing. Which is good. I mean, good on him. Like, I love Gears as probably as much as he loves Destiny, but I haven't put in half as much as many hours as he has in the Destiny. But I just think there's going to be a problem soon. Last year I felt it. There was just too much coming out, and I have a backlog of games that I just haven't played, or haven't even touched, or haven't gone back to because something else has come out. It's just this constant barrage. And it's not like a movie where you can just go into a movie and spend a couple of hours and you're done. No, these games, they expect 30, 40, 60, 100 hours of you. Who can do that at a constant rate that they're coming out? It's impossible. It's impossible. You know, it's a problem. There's so much that there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, you know? I wish they would start railing these releases back, but you know they won't, because they want the money. They want all the money, as Jim Sterling would say. So, yeah, there's going to be a problem coming soon. And if they don't, I just feel it. If they don't do something about it, or prepare themselves, or start figuring out ways to not rely on a games as service to keep themselves afloat. You got EA and Activision just dropping studios or cancelling games left and right because they're a single player game, because nobody wants that, which is absolute horseshit. I want that. Game of the year last year was God of War on PS4, single player experience. Spider-Man, one of the biggest selling games last year, was a single player experience. I know to some of you this is not news, I understand that, but I'm trying to make a point. And that no one, you know, these companies aren't going to see this video, but I don't give a shit. I just want to say my piece. I still believe that the Xbox PS2 and the GameCube, that generation, was the last, maybe to a degree, the 360 and PS3 generation, but that started really showing some problems. I want to say the Xbox PS2 and GameCube generation, I think that was the sixth generation of consoles, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say that is the last best generation that we've had, where it's just been the game. You know, it's you and the game. And, you know, you might have 4 players, you know, System Link or whatever. You know, I just think that was the last generation where it was solid. The game you got was on the disc. You know, it's not day one patches or upgrades left and right. Maybe there was a Game of the Year edition that had extra content, DLC coming with it, or they released a second expansion, physically released another expansion, 2 shelves, and you would install that or put the disc in. At least with Xbox you had some games like that, like Morrowind, and I think Jade Empire to an extent. I missed that. That was the last stable generation, I think, where there was just so many good games. Like, I've gone back and made a list of games I want to get on my Xbox again. All these eBay listings I've got on there, about 80 games or something. Some bullshit, and some Mega Drive games in there, because I'm over it. I want to be able to play games at my own pace. Games of service don't offer that. Yeah, I could probably pick it up now and then when I want to, but it's always changing, and you can't keep up. You miss the grind. The leveling system, like you're far behind and all this kind of stuff. I don't think that's sustainable at all. You know, let me know what you think in the comments, or what you want to, what you make of this. Am I blowing up nothing here? But clearly there's something wrong. I've been a gamer forever, as long as I've known games. And this generation, this current generation, Xbox One, PS4 and all that, I've found myself just like getting tired of it. And I don't like that. And now recently, when I've been going back picking up older games, I'm getting excited to play them. What does that say? Just from a personal point of view, from my point of view, that says something. If I'm not excited, or the new releases that come out, when I look at them, it feels like I'm about to climb a mountain. You know, it's daunting. That's not good. That's not a good thing. I know I'm not the only one. I've had similar conversations with people I know where they're just like, ugh. You know, that's not the kind of response you want when you're like, oh man, you're looking forward to this game? You know, that's not good. Yeah, it's a problem. So, look, some of my efforts are going to be focused on picking up older games, because then I can just pick it up and play it when I need to and continue on the story and take it at my own pace. I'm not going to get handed to me by people in the same world when I'm just trying to play the game. I'm not going to have to sit there waiting for the network to come on. I'm not going to have to sit there and wait for a patch to download. I'm not going to have to sit there and struggle connecting to the servers because there's a system problem or a network issue somewhere. All these games of services just... if I lost my internet connection for some reason, I can't do crap. But I can boot up my other consoles and keep playing. Yeah, I don't know, man. Activision's problems right now, that's just gonna... I think that's gonna just grow exponentially bad across the board. Ubisoft's gone quite quiet with their games of service type of games that they had. Their gases. They've gone pretty quiet on them. You know? Xbox Game Studios, they've only got the one, which is Sea of Thieves. And I think they're doing it the best. Because you don't need like to grind for loot or anything. You can just play the game. All they need to do is just give us that solo server option, or the PvE option, and that game is going to go gold. They'll have me back. I'll gladly play my hours in that game. So yeah, look, I'm ranting on a bit, but I think this example of what Activision's going through, it's not only the result of being too stubborn, being too ruthless with their studios, having too high expectations. Obviously, their shareholders, this is who they're answering to. The expectations are too high. People will stop playing their games because they're moving on to other things, or they got bored of what they're playing because it's just not fun anymore. The grind isn't fun anymore. These games have great concepts, and I mean they took the world by storm, some of them. But that doesn't last forever, and you can't rest on your laurels on those types. You need something more substantial. You need solid content coming. You need games that people can look forward to and get behind without having to commit their whole life to. It's a problem. You know, and I'm going to wrap up here, but if I get comments on this video, if at all, people saying, well, don't play the game then. That's just the weakest argument ever, because clearly these companies are suffering. And it's not just me walking away from these games. There's plenty of them. And the studios are getting over it. So this whole playfield's going to have to change. And I hope it does. I really do. Next generation, I hope it's not like this. Because I've got no real positive memories so far that I hold dear in this current generation as far as games go. The last two, plenty of games, plenty of surprises, plenty of gems, plenty of games that just I'll never forget, like I have legit experiences with. This gen, not so much. So anyway, let me know what you think down below. Share your experiences. Let me know if you're on board with how I'm feeling, or if you agree with that, or if you don't, let me know why. Let me know why you think I'm wrong. Besides saying don't play them, because that's the weakest argument you can give me. Anyway, my name's Uncle Chunt. If you're new around here, subscribe. That'd be great. I might rant some more later.
Like, comment, subscribe.